Let's say you have no idea about searching in general. We don't want you to worry at all, because people like you are very welcome to join us in this course right here. We'll start with you from the very beginning while teaching you the very basics information that you need to know about SEO. Starting from questions like what is search engine and how exactly does it work, and what is SEO and why should anyone even consider using it, and how exactly is that going to get us traffic. All of these questions will be answered in this chapter. To start our course, we're gonna pose a very simple question. What is a search engine? So basically, a search engine is a sort of a program or a script that searches for specific items requested by us, people. You can think of it as a service that is offered to us mostly on the internet to facilitate the path of finding the things that we're looking for. Let's even dive deeper into the roots of it. At its most basic form, it's just a directory or a database that has all of the website or web pages that exist on the internet. While it may look simple, it actually isn't at all. There are lots and lots of things that are behind the building and the coding of these search engines. Things like relevance, which is a functionality that tries to give you the best and most relevant results. Or media enhancements, which is the factor that help you look for images or videos or any sort of media online. Also rich information, so that it can give you immediately the certain steps you're looking for, or even the answers that you're seeking online in all of the websites. Or even machine learning, which exists to study the things that people like the most and the things that have the most engagement or amount of search. So that's why we use machine learning to study people's behavior, to study what they're interested in the most. And many more factors developers must put into consideration when preparing a good search engine. So in short, a search engine is a directory that contains all of the websites and searches for our queries inside them. Now, after knowing what a search engine is, it raises another question in our heads. How does search work? There must be a pattern or a certain technique that these search engines follow, right? Absolutely yes. There are three main steps in the searching process. The first one is called crawling, then indexing, and then the retrieval algorithm. So it begins with crawling. This is the step where the search engine scans every single tiny detail on each page. The titles, the keywords, the images, it scans everything a page has. And then, when it has fully scanned it, it moves on to the next page. But still, how does that exactly happen? Using automated bots called spiders. Each one of them has a role of visiting a page, and then another as quickly as possible. It does that by scanning each link that exists in every single page it visits, and then visits that link and scans it for other links and so on. So you get the point. It basically looks for links and open each one of them to look for other links and collect the information as it goes. So now we have a huge amount of scanned data. What are we going to do with it? That's where the second step comes in, the indexing part. Here, all of the crawled data are processed and stored into one big database, often called data center, so that it can store a huge amount of data. Google owns lots of them, but they are spread around the world and they are extremely protected. So to carry on, now the search engine can give you all the stored data in its database, but here's a problem that we'll definitely encounter here. All of the results we got were totally irrelevant to what we need, and we have to spend so much time to look for a useful piece of information. Which brings us to part 3. The retrieval algorithm. This is an equation that is extremely complex and long, and people work very hard to come up with a good one, because it is actually the most important part. So what it does is that it ranks these stored data or websites according to its relativity with your search, and this is what separates all search engines apart from each other. Each one has its own algorithm of ranking pages. This also explains why, for example, Google results are mostly different than Bing results. What we've just shown you here is just a very basic shallow look at how searching works, but there are still more basics that you need to know before we take you to a deeper step into the course. Now that you know what searching is, let's get closer to the main subject of the course and ask this question. What is SEO, or search engine optimization? Well, its title explains it all. It's the practice of optimizing your website to make it appear on search engines and even make it reach higher positions and rankings to show up to more and more people. In other words, it's when website owners try to make their websites fit to search engines' algorithms, so they put a good strategy that they will use on the long term, to make sure that they'll keep ranking higher and higher on search engines. Well, you must be asking, what is ranking anyway? Well, a ranking is the website's position in the search engine results. It determines whether your website will appear on the 100th page, the second one, or the first one, or even the first 3 results. Now that is ranking. And basically, the first 3 results are everyone's target, because according to a study, the first 3 results of any search engine are the ones who get the most traffic, the most visitors. Which means that these websites get the most profits as well. So the better you rank, the higher your chance is of getting visitors to your page. Let's have an example to look at. If we open google.com and search for how to increase SEO ranking, these will be the first 3 results that we'll get, all giving you the steps on improving your ranking. So each one of them has the steps that you are looking for. They have the answer to your question. They are the most relevant to what you searched for, right? Or at least that's what the search engine thinks. Well, guess what? They actually might not be the most relevant or anything. It's just that they had the good recipe to trick Google's search engine that they are the closest websites to your search using what? Using a good SEO strategy. And that's what everyone is trying to do, finding algorithms, strategies, and ranking factors that can affect the ranking. All of that is in favor of getting at least on the first page of search engines. And that's right here is what we call SEO. In this video, we'll be explaining to you why SEO is extremely important to your website and of course your business. So we already mentioned that getting on the top positions or rankings of a search engine is going to get you much more traffic than you could ever dream. But that's not all. There are many other important things about SEO. First of all, SEO can make you win the race of competition between you and other websites. For example, if your website sells a specific product and also other websites are selling the same product, but you manage to get a good ranking on search engines, then you can easily guarantee that you'll be making way more sales than them. Also, SEO is perfect for your website's growth. It'll allow so many things to happen that you didn't expect, like getting promoted on social media by people sharing your articles or reviewing your products, or even people telling their relatives or friends about your website. So as you can see, you will be expanding on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You will be expanding everything because you will be getting the promotion that you needed. You will get the popularity that will definitely make your website grow faster. Another thing is the type of audience that you'll be getting. We can easily say here that you will be getting mostly our target audience. You'll feel free from the worries of having to look for the suitable audience for your page, because the people who will be visiting will be the right kind of people. And that is because they looked for what you are offering. They have searched for it with their own hands. So SEO perfectly matches you with the right set of audience. Let's not also forget the fact that SEO builds trust and credibility. The trust is a big word that can hugely affect your relationship with your audience. So people trust Google, Bing, Yahoo, and all of these famous search engines. If those search engines are offering people your website, then they will definitely trust your website as well. So what happened right here is that SEO built a strong connection or a relationship between you and your audience. Now finally, let's take a look at what personal benefit SEO will offer to you. And that will be helping you understand the environment of the web. The web environment is one that is always changing and reforming. Now the good thing about SEO is that it forces you into it without letting you notice that you are being pushed into it. But sooner than you think, you find yourself knowing the tactics, the strategies, and the latest things that are being used on the internet to support businesses. It keeps you updated day to day. After checking all of these benefits, there's no doubt that SEO is one of the most important things in the construction of a business today. Hello again everyone. Since now we know that ranking is the thing that matters on search engines or in SEO in general, we want to take a closer look at how much traffic exactly does each rank get. So according to a study by a team called Curating, they have found that the first page in the results of the search takes 91.5% of the whole traffic, and 4.8 for page 2, 1.1 for page 3, 0.4% for page 4. As we can see, the percentage dramatically decreases while we move on to further pages, and that's why everyone is on the hunt for page 1. While also a similar study by the same team shows that the rankings of the first page are as the following. The first link gets 32.5 of the traffic, second link gets 17.6, and so it declines, but with a much better rate than of the page results. You see the difference between both of them? So we can come up with a very important conclusion from these studies. The thing that will make the significant variance, the game changer here, is the ranking of the first page, because it literally takes most of the traffic, leaving very low chances for other pages. Which makes the battle for it a tough one, with everyone being competitive to show up on that one page that has the key to their needed traffic. They are doing their best to assure that they get there, and not just get there, but also stay there. This is like round 1 of the competition, because then there's round 2, which is competing for a better ranking on the first page. So now you're on the first page, that's not enough for you, you want to be on top of that first page. Now that you know how much traffic each ranking gets, you should have the right motivation to climb the ranking ladder and keep aiming for better positions. So don't forget to take that as your goal when you're setting up an SEO strategy. When we talk about SEO in general, we don't expect to have the greatest successes in our trials just because we have a basic knowledge of what SEO is. There must be some kind of bricks that SEO is built with, right? Yes, these bricks are the 3 pillars of rankings that we'll be discussing today. Now the 3 pillars are relevance, trust, and quality. These 3 pillars that we're going to talk about are the essentials of any SEO strategy put to date. Now I want you to think, what would happen if you remove some bricks of your house? What would happen? Your house will collapse immediately, right? That's exactly the case with the 3 pillars of SEO. If one of them falls, all the others follow. They are all connected to each other. So take that as a rule. All 3 of them has to happen in order to get a good and strong SEO effect. We'll be explaining to you each one individually in separate videos during this chapter, and hopefully by the end of this chapter you'll have the knowledge of sustaining a good SEO plan that'll elevate your rankings and eventually get you the traffic you seek. Welcome guys to the video of the first pillar of ranking, which is relevance. So to begin, you must know that when we talk about relevance in SEO, we mean the extent to which the contents of a website are close and helpful to the search. And we've already gave you a brief idea of how search engines work when they are sorting things to higher rankings. But what we haven't told you is that when they crawl your website, they don't really know what all your content is about. In other words, if your website is messy and not formalic, not well built or structured, then it won't be counted as a relevant one. And therefore, you will get a bad ranking. That's why we highly suggest you to do the following to make your website as relevant as possible. Number 1. Make your content SEO friendly. And by that we mean try to make it look as organized as possible. And not just the looks, but also the formatting. Make sure you add titles to your articles and headlines and tags. Make it as organized as possible. Because this is one of the things that help the bots or the crawlers that scans your website to classify you as one of the better pages. So they check if you have titles, tags, and headlines and then decides how well organized you are. All of this, it helps them think that you are worthy of getting a good ranking spot. Number 2, focus on your topic. Now something else that helps your website to be more relevant is the content of your page. So make your content topical focused. And by that we mean make each page of your website focused on its topic without deriving and reciting other useless information that has nothing to do with the main topic. No, we don't want to do that. We want to keep it as informative as possible to the main topic or the main idea that we're talking about. And also keep that in mind. Having one page focused with information that only concerns the main topic is better than having 100 pages all talking about that topic separately, with all the informations laying around in different places. So make sure to make it topic concentrated. Number 3, include useful information. The next hint is that you should include all the useful information a visitor could need. No matter what kind of business you are running, your audience will definitely need to know a lot of things about you. Your business, your products, your services, they want to know you, and SEO helps you with that and helps them as well. So make sure to include every single piece of info that your visitor might possibly need. You have to put your efforts in that, in knowing what would your visitor look for in a website like yours. Put yourself in his shoes and see what would you think. What would you need to know? That will probably help you in figuring out the contents you should be including. Now, number 4, remember mobile devices. And the final hint we want to offer you is to not forget about mobile usability. In our days, almost everyone is dependent on their phones. They are the piece of technology that accompanies us wherever we go. And whenever someone has a specific inquiry in mind, they open their web browser on their phones and go to a search engine and look for what they need. So you should never forget about the mobile users. These are a huge part of your people, and if your website isn't catered to these mobile devices, then search engines won't be showing it to them as a useful, valuable website. So make sure your website also supports mobile view and its structure is still well maintained even on these devices. Hello guys, in this video we'll be talking about the second pillar of ranking, which is trust. Now, trust is a combination of many factors that search engines use to discover how trustful a website is. And of course, the more trustful it is, the better ranking it will get. So let's see what are the prime trust factors that search engines look for. Number 1. Privacy policy terms and disclosure. First of all, the privacy policy terms and disclosure, these things may not directly affect your ranking, but surely they affect your trust factor. As a website that has privacy policy is more seen as a legitimate, real, trustful website, so you should definitely consider having those in your website. Number 2, the length of articles. Now also you shouldn't forget about the length of your articles. It has been noted that sites with longer article length are more trustworthy than those with shorter ones. However, that doesn't mean that you have to stretch your articles and just write any nonsense to make it long. You have to fill it with unique and smart contents that are 100% useful to the visitors. Number 3, add trusted links to your website. This is a factor with a question. Do you have links to trusted sources? A good sign to assure that your website is trusted is to include trusted sources that are already well known. For example, if you have a specific info from Wikipedia, you can state that it's from Wikipedia and include its link. This way, the search engine will think that you are including good links that are also well known, which is gonna boost your trust to it. Number 4, add videos. Carrying on with the factors, this is videos. Yes, videos do affect trust. As it turns out, the more videos you have on your page, the more you'll be considered trustful. As videos on your page are one way to tell search engines that you're offering good content that people will be interested in checking out. And you know, in addition to all of this, videos are generally one of the best ways to drive traffic to pages. So as you can see, it's a win-win. Number 5, make people stay on your website. Let's see another factor, which is the duration of people staying on your website. For how long will they stay on it? So you always have to think of methods and creative ways to make sure that your visitors will stay for a while on your website before going away to other pages. You have to ensure that they will like your content so they can stay for longer durations. And as we said, before you should add long, lengthy articles, of course, you have to fill them with interesting ideas and contents. So these were some of the most guaranteed tricks to make sure you enhance your website's trust level. So make sure to put them in your plan for your website and try to include all of them so you can finally be ready for the final pillar, which is gonna be the subject of our next video. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the final pillar in the 3 pillars of ranking. And honestly, this one is the one that makes the most difference. Let me explain. So many people can do all the tricks to make their website trustworthy, or follow all the steps to make sure they include the perfect relevant contents for their topics. But not everyone has the ability to include high quality contents, and this is the last pillar, which is quality. The third quality here means that you have to be the best. You have to offer the best. Don't focus too much on methods of getting higher rankings if you're not gonna do this one. If you're gonna skip it, then there's no point behind this. Because without the quality, you'll never get the ranking you want. People may have tons of contents and their website is very well designed, but it lacks the quality. So how exactly to get the quality? You get it when you plan to make everything perfect. Starting from the design, from the intro, from the conclusion, everything has to be perfect. So think about everything. Don't miss out on something. You want to make it as professional as possible. You want your visitors to visit your website and say, okay, that's a perfect website, I'll definitely revisit it. Because if they like your website, they'll come back to it over and over again, and they might end up visiting it on a daily basis, and even tell their friends about it, and so they revisit again and again and again, and this is just perfect for you. Think about the scale of this. Instead of getting visitors who come and go off your website, you have visitors who visit you on a daily basis. That's why you always have to give them a reason to come back to your page. And that will only happen if you have the right quality that they need. And the next thing you don't want to forget about is to make your site recognizable. So after making sure that all other points exist, take this as a check mark and ask yourself this question. Is there something unique about my website? Is there something special that people would instantly recognize my website for? For example, Apple have a grayscale web design with their logo, so everyone recognizes their website. Take this as your reference. You must be special. You must be unique. You must have your own footprint so that people recognize your page. All of these points are your guide to leading a successful high-quality website. That will definitely earn higher rankings than those who miss or neglect these points. So make sure you follow these tips along with the tips of the other two pillars, which were trust and relevance. And after successfully following them, you can consider yourself a successful builder of the 3 pillars of ranking. Hello again and welcome to another video in this chapter of Google Updates. And today we'll be talking about the Google Pigeon update. So what is it? While all the other updates we talked about were global, this one specifically targeted the local areas. The Google Pigeon update was made to help or support the local businesses and to provide useful, relevant, and accurate local search results. So as you can see, it's all about a game of distance and accuracy. Let's get into the details. So it was also made to help the users who search online for specific things that can be locally found, like restaurants or hotels. For example, if you wrote in Google search pharmacy, the first search results you would get will be pharmacies that are close to your location. And that's thanks to the Google Pigeon update. So we highly advise you to do the following in order to be compliant to that Google Pigeon update. State your location. Remember to state your location, or even better, implement Google Maps on your website while marking your place, of course. Make sure you put your contact info followed by buttons like get directions or call now, because these often help you in getting a better rank and also prompting you as a trusted website. If you have branches, of course, make sure you include them all on Google Maps, because marking them on Google Maps will make your search appear close to many and many more places, and eventually this will help your search radius expand. So that's gonna help you in Google Pigeon update. Okay, now these were very simple rules that if you follow them properly and you do them with good quality and care, you can easily guarantee that you'll be compliant to Google Pigeon update. See? This was probably the easiest update. All you need to do is just mentioning your location and stating your branches and marking your website on Google Maps. Very simple steps, but these can definitely increase your ranking. Welcome to the second update in this chapter, which is Google Panda update. Let's see what it is. So as a start, the Panda update was introduced in 2011. Its main goal was to improve user experience. It did that exactly by punishing low-quality websites and rewarding good-quality ones. You can say it was a bit similar to the Penguin one, except that the Panda update didn't look for spammy links. Instead, it was mainly focused on the website's reputation, design, load speed, and the user interface. The Google Panda hated lots of things, including these top points. Number 1. Including weak or meaningless content. Your content must be that of high quality and at the same time not with short length, because as we can see, this isn't just for the Panda update but also for the Penguins one, and many other updates. So keep your content healthy and fresh at all costs. You need to realize that this will have a huge impact on whether you appear in the front page or get a bad ranking and appear in the late ones. So again, make sure you're providing good, useful pieces of information that is considerably thick. Number 2. Repetitive content in multiple places on your website. Look, We know that when anyone's trying to deliver a message, he insists on it and tries to spread it as much as possible. And we're totally okay with that. Just please do not put the same content again and again all over your website, but just in different places. Or even just change the order of the sentences and repost it. That's not gonna work. If you want to comply to the update, you have to figure out a solution for this. The Panda checks for each sentence, or in fact, each set of words, and see how often it is repeated on your page. So try to be as diverse as you can. And if you want to spread similar contents, you can use good paraphrasing to your sentences while adding different vocabulary such as synonyms, for example. Number 3. Bad spelling. Now this is something that not only the Panda update would hate, but also your visitors. Nobody likes a paragraph with bad spelling. It's just disorienting if your words don't make sense or don't add up to the meaning of your post. Also, grammar mistakes, as tiny as they can be, they are very easy to detect. So make sure your post is mistakes-free. Number 4. Too many topics in one domain. Also, we highly recommend that you focus on this one, because it is totally wrong to have lots of topic in just one domain. Instead, you should keep your domain consistent, as we said before, topic focused. Having too much topic doesn't really help you stand out and be unique in something, so just pick 1 or 2 topics that you want to focus on and fill your domain with related contents to them. Number 5. Broken pages and keyword stuffing. The Panda update of course checks if your website has links to broken pages or interface that isn't user-friendly at all. For example, slow site speed, poor navigation, or redirects to another domain, and also 404 errors. Plus, it will look through your content to see if you have keyword stuffing, which is just putting random words in your article that aren't exactly related to what you're saying. Just because these words tend to drive more traffic, you put them there. So if you'd like to do keyword stuffing, keep it very simple and undertone. And of course, the keywords have to be fitting to your content and your topic. In addition to all of that, make sure you don't add too many ads or too many affiliate links. Just keep their number considerate in your whole domain. In order to get past the Panda's punishment, you had to get through all of these tests in order to avoid any negative effect that the Panda could do to your website's ranking. So we already talked about Google Penguin update and Google Panda update, but these two were addressing the past, while Hummingbird is about the future. Let me explain things out. When the Hummingbird update was considered, they had in mind to target exactly mobile users, due to the insanely increase in the mobile use. That's why Google needed an algorithm that understands what people ask for. It needed something that can understand the questions asked in search engines in a better way. So it needed something to look at the meaning behind the combination of these words and then look at the entire phrase to decipher it. And of course, this makes the search feel more natural and more effective, while also it brings it closer to human interactions on the internet. Since our main target is to get better ranking, we want to be compliant as much as possible to most of the Google updates. And to be compliant to this one, we're going to have to follow a simple rule. Use long-tail keywords. Long-tail keywords differ from the normal keywords in that they store phrases instead of just single words. And it makes sense because Google Hummingbird looks at the whole phrase and deciphers its meaning. So when you use the right set of phrases, Hummingbird may detect it in your website and award you for that. So our advice again in this situation is to put long, useful keywords that are related to each other and of course to the whole topic of your page. And leave the rest on Hummingbird. And that's pretty much what you need to do. And if we give you any extra advice, it would be just to follow all the other technical advice that we gave you in the past 2 updates. Because Hummingbird is also dependent on the same factors, like the design, the usability, and the user interface. Hummingbird still checks these features, but while mainly focusing on the meaning of the whole phrase and not just each word. So remember that. This was the simplest way to explain the Google Hummingbird update to you. We still have more updates to explain and understand, so stay tuned. Hello again and welcome to another video in this chapter of Google Updates. And today we'll be talking about the Google Pigeon update. So what is it? While all the other updates we talked about were global, this one specifically targeted the local areas. The Google Pigeon update was made to help or support the local businesses and to provide useful, relevant, and accurate local search results. So as you can see, it's all about a game of distance and accuracy. Let's get into the details. So it was also made to help the users who search online for specific things that can be locally found, like restaurants or hotels. For example, if you wrote in Google search pharmacy, the first search results you would get will be pharmacies that are close to your location. And that's thanks to the Google Pigeon update. So we highly advise you to do the following in order to be compliant to that Google Pigeon update. State your location. Remember to state your location, or even better, implement Google Maps on your website while marking your place, of course. Make sure you put your contact info followed by buttons like get directions or call now, because these often help you in getting a better rank and also prompting you as a trusted website. If you have branches, of course, make sure you include them all on Google Maps, because marking them on Google Maps will make your search appear close to many and many more places, and eventually this will help your search radius expand. So that's gonna help you in Google Pigeon update. Okay, now these were very simple rules that if you follow them properly and you do them with good quality and care, you can easily guarantee that you'll be compliant to Google Pigeon update. See? This was probably the easiest update. All you need to do is just mentioning your location and stating your branches and marking your website on Google Maps. Very simple steps, but these can definitely increase your ranking. Hello everyone, welcome to this video. We're introducing to you another Google update called Google RankBrain Update. As usual, we'll start by explaining what it is and why Google is using it. So the story begins with Google having 15 new queries every day that are marked as unknown, meaning that Google doesn't fully understand them. And that is because we, as humans in general, are using different ways when asking for information. Each person has his own unique way of using Google. Sometimes people use different vocabulary, other times some may use different sentence structures, and this alone was a good enough reason for Google to come up with a new update that can understand these queries and at the same time help the people. But the problem was that the only person who could truly understand these new unknown queries would be a human being. So what are they going to do? Well, it's no longer impossible to have the machines earn some human attributes with AI, artificial intelligence. So they came up with some kind of algorithm that consists of AI. So how exactly does that work? Here's an example to explain the update to you. Let's say you have written in Google search red apples. Normally, you'd only get red apples, but this smart update sees it from another perspective. Maybe you meant red apple as a fruit, or maybe you meant red apple as for the iPhone company maybe. But the probability of you meaning the fruit is definitely higher. So you would get 80% of the search results concerning of the fruit, and the other 20% will be for the apple and the technology related stuff. You probably ask yourself, what should you do in order to be compliant to that update? Well, you're wrong, because the right question here would be, why do we want to be compliant to that update? Because this update basically targets the keywords that are unknown, so the keywords that almost no one is looking for. So why would you want to include them in your website? Well, of course, it is still beneficial and all, but it's definitely not worth spending all of your time to focus on this update. However, here are the good news. It turns out that Google RankBrain is pretty much too similar to the other updates when looking for user experience and interface. And also the duration of people staying on your page, and also how often will people click on your page. So this lets us guarantee that while optimizing for updates like Google Penguin or Panda, we're also working our way to Google RankBrain update. Just most importantly, try to be as natural as possible and try to write differently all around your website, so you can cover most of the user searching queries. And in the end, our advice again would be write good content, organize your page, choose a well-fitting design, and of course include high usability on your website, and most importantly, be natural. Don't try to force yourself to use some specific contents or keywords to get better rankings. Just be very natural and at the same time use smart keywords. More on that later. With Google constantly releasing updates like Google Panda or Google Penguin or Google RankBrain, a lot of websites get affected from them, and they take huge damage. But we don't want you to worry, because today we will tell you one strategy that connects all the updates together, and eventually help you predict the upcoming updates and protect yourself from any harm to your website. So listen everyone, our strategy will be based on Google's top priority, which is user experience. The thing that Google focuses on the most is user experience, because basically that's the most important thing in a search result. People are always trying to find websites that they can easily use and understand without having any struggles or issues. These websites deserve to make it on the #1 spot in Google search. So our strategy will be to aim our focus at providing the best user experience in a website, and there are many ways that we can do that. Let's see. Optimize your page speed. Have you checked how fast Google.com loads? Your website should load as fast as possible, because one of the most things that people hate is to wait for a website to load. You can start by compressing all your images before loading them into the website. So see what's slowing down your website and try to figure a solution for it, and eventually try to make your website load as fast as possible. Make your website creative. I know I already mentioned that in many previous videos, but this is crucial, guys. You can get creative with your buttons or any interactions on your page. You can choose a good unique design to your page. You can choose creative images as a background, and truly, there's no limit to where you can get with this. Just be as creative as possible. And for the next one, of course, we don't even need to mention it. Supposedly you already figured it out. Post good content. If there's anything that Google updates play on the most, it's filtering the content and trying to see the most worthy pages that deserve to be seen by the users. So opt for this one, really. Write long, rich paragraphs that are professionally structured. Post content-related images in the right position. Make sure your text looks good and is split into different sections. Make a sequence to your articles and provide them with a suitable header, body, and footer. That's all. That is the most important thing, guys, is to have a well-built website, a well-structured website with good contents, with good keywords, and all of that. So to conclude our strategy, all you really need to do here is primarily focus on making the website that everyone would love to use, and eventually come back to. If your website is attractive to people, then it's also attractive to SEO. Welcome guys to the new chapter, Keyword Research. In this chapter, we'll be covering up so many new things, starting from definition of keywords to how to combine them with a good strategy to get optimum SEO results. So let's pop the first question we have, which is, what are keywords? Let's say I'm planning to change my mobile phone. So I hit google.com to see what are my options, and I write in it latest mobile phones. Google is going to break down my search into 3 different sections. I'm looking for something that is new because I mentioned latest, and then something that is a mobile, and finally, for things to make sense, it's a mobile phone. So now these 3 words right here are what we call keywords. You get it now? So basically, keywords are the words or phrases that users enter in the search engines, and pretty much Google and other search engines have huge dependency on them when giving websites their ranking. Therefore, every website owner is always focused on using keywords, also known as words that people search for in their website so that they can be awarded in search engines to become more famous and eventually get more traffic. Great, so now you know what keywords are. Let's get to the second part of this video. How to do keywords research. Or in other words, how do you find the proper keywords to use on your page? There is more than one way to do that, but the easiest one, we're gonna start with it. Using related keywords in Google. So basically, go to Google, write the phrase or the word that you're planning to use, and see how the top pages used related keywords to your phrase. This will help you get insights about competing with them and also will let you benefit from their successful keywords. Now the next thing you can use is the keyword planner in Google AdWords. Now this is a perfect solution if you're planning on finding new keywords. With Google's Keyword Planner, you can easily determine new keywords that will help you spread content that are filled with rich and powerful keywords. This will definitely give you ranking a little push-up. And third, if you'd like to spend a little money on finding new worthy keywords, you can get keyword tool software like Niche Target Suite. These tools can help you detect the most used and most active keywords that are used today in the market, while also showing you the trendy ones, so you can keep an eye on what's making a hit within your niche. So this was the very core of keywords and keyword researching in general. So follow us in the upcoming videos of this chapter to get more details and tips on keywords. So you have your content ready and your website is also ready, but you don't know how you're going to obtain the necessary keywords that you'll be using. We might have already give you a few tips on finding some in the previous video, but today we will show you how to get a huge list of keywords with just a simple program. And our program in this video is going to be Niche Target Suite. This is a program that is specifically made to create the list of keywords for you without you having to look around everywhere for each keyword. Because of course, if you want to get a huge chunk of keywords, you can just go online and look for the keywords one by one. This could be really time consuming and sometimes your hard efforts, they won't pay off. That's why it's always good to consider choosing a keyword generator software just like Niche Target Suite. Now this program is going to help you with many things in that list. It's going to let you get all kinds of keywords and choose from a big variety of low competition keywords and high competition ones, new and old ones. It'll give you a big set of options that you can choose from when detecting keywords. That's why it's considered highly important to use something like it, so you can actually understand the keywords you're getting and make sure that you're not just getting irrelevant ones. Irrelevant keywords can be very unhelpful and they will get you nowhere. So it's also important to know what kind of software you're dealing with just to make sure that you're using an effective one and just like the one we talked in this video, which is Niche Target Suite. After obtaining the list of keywords, start implementing it on your website. You will probably feel the difference before and after implementing the keywords. Because as of course these keywords are going to get some audience attraction to your page, but just most importantly, don't make things rushed and wait for the keywords a bit so they can actually show you the effect, as the keywords generally aren't going to immediately give you the boost that you need. That's not how keywords work, but you're supposed to gradually start notice the traffic increasing, not all of a sudden. So just be patient and you'll eventually get the result that you expected. Welcome again guys to our course, and today we're getting something crucial for our keyword research, and that is going to be identifying keywords that will get you traffic. Think about it, not every keyword you will use is guaranteed to get you traffic. Some keywords may turn out bad, others may turn out not to be very common, and maybe even some of them were powerful in the past, but they got old and they're not pretty useful anymore. So how to identify the best ones? Well, we're going to give you a few tips to help you figure out whether a keyword will get you traffic or not. Number 1. First of all, you have to think about the competition you'll be getting from that keyword and how hard you can compete with it. Like for example, you may use a keyword like creative. Of course, this is a keyword that is extremely broad and there are already lots of competitors using it. However, if you use the keyword like innovative, you will get less competition because you used a word that is less common. Therefore, your competition is less. So you get it now? Number 2. Check your top competitors. There's nothing wrong with checking the people behind the successful top ranking page of your keyword. You can actually check them, see what other keywords they used, and just like that, in any sort of business, benefit from your competitors. Number 3, now you need to ask yourself this question. Can you create high quality content for this specific keyword? Sometimes you may think of a very powerful keyword that you're 100% sure will do the trick for your website. But when it comes to the real job, you can provide good enough content for it and therefore it becomes useless. So make sure you can do that before choosing it and also ensuring that it will be related to what your subject or goal is about. And the final question you need to ask is, can you provide powerful link building from trusted high-quality websites to that keyword? Let's put it in a simple way. As we explained before, since search engines use crawlers to crawl your website for other pages, we're going to need to create backlinks for powerful, good ranking pages. But of course, they have to be related to our topic or keyword. And that's why you're going to make sure that whatever keyword you use, for it to bring traffic, it's always best to find a relation to it with one of your pages. And that is what SEO is about, guys. It's about connectivity, it's about relations, it's a pattern, you can say. When you have something that is powerful and useful, connected to another thing that is also useful, and so on. This is truly how you start driving yourself the way up the rankings. We still want to help you to get to the end of that road, so stay tuned for upcoming videos. Hello and welcome, guys. Let me start the video by telling you that there are two kinds of keywords: high competition and low competition ones. Each one has its pluses and minuses. That's why today we'll explain to you the difference between the both of them. So let us start first by the high competition keywords. So basically, these are the most popular and famous keywords that are generally used. They are good keywords, of course, and they tend to drive high traffic, but there's one problem. These keywords are mostly already dominated by other websites. This creates a very high competitive wall for you. And to cross over that wall, you're going to get through a lot of difficulties. Because these keywords were already used too many times, and since they were good and they are already providing traffic for the pages dominating them, of course, they're not just gonna give them up. So again, someone new to the environment of this keyword will have to face very low chances in the beginning when competing with high competition keywords. And there are many reasons behind Google letting these websites dominate these keywords. First, the website could be that of high authority, such as big companies. And secondly, the website could be providing high quality content and already has set backlinks for the keywords. And last, it could be a very highly optimized website that Google puts faith in it because of its user experience and reputation. So actually, in the future, we can become one of these websites. But first, we're gonna get through the low competition keywords. So the second kind of keywords we have is low competition keywords, also known as long tail keywords. Long tail keywords were already mentioned in a previous video, but again, they are the keywords that are composed of a set of words in a specific sequence. So when you add these words up in that specific sequence, that's gonna be your keyword. So they aren't just simple words, they are specific phrases that have specific meanings. So it's predictable that these drive less traffic, of course, than the popular high competition ones. But the good thing is, as much as these tend to drive less traffic, these are your key for higher rankings. The possibility of you acquiring long tail keywords every day is higher, and the competition is lower, which means that if you follow the right steps of leading a good website, plus using the right set of long tail keywords, you can already guarantee that you'll be getting a good ranking in a short time. So it's always better to start with them when implementing an SEO plan. And that was the difference between the both of them. They are the total opposite of each other, and each one of them should be used in a specific stage of your SEO strategy. That's why we had to explain to you the difference so you can manage to balance their usage and know when exactly to use what. Thank you, guys. Hello guys, and welcome to another part in this chapter. Now in this video, we'll show you one strategy that you'll be thankful to know forever and will definitely make huge improvements on your SEO plans. This strategy is focused on keyword targeting, and after implementing it the right way, you should be definitely getting some extra traffic. So let's get into it. Our strategy starts with doing our keyword research very normally. We should be checking for the most powerful keywords that are surrounding our niche or our specific topic. After that, compile these keywords into one list, then start writing and creating tiny pieces of content for each of the keywords. Like so, it won't look like you're just using these keywords randomly, but it will look like you had to use them because they helped in building the right content for your audience. In other words, it doesn't look like you purposely put them on your website, which is called keyword stuffing. Or at least, That's how Google algorithm are going to read it. And this will be step 2, writing the content for each of the keyword. So your content has to be good and it has to be very related to the keyword. So in order for the strategy to work, you have to write good content and powerful content that isn't already anywhere else on the internet. It has to be 100% original. And you should be having no problem with this strategy, because since the keywords are related to each other anyway, your content will be too. Just make sure there's a nice and an organized sequence to your content, and that's really all you need to worry about in this strategy. The rest is just magic. You'll see how this plan is going to help your website in being more detectable and easier to find on search engines. As simple as the strategy is, it really does work. It's very simple, but it actually works and you will see major results. It just needs a little effort from you in choosing the right set of keywords and creating good content for them. So don't forget to put this one on your SEO plan and also follow our guides of keyword research and how to choose the right keywords that will get you traffic, and we hope you have some good results with it. Hello and welcome guys. To finalize this chapter, we're going to get you through the essence of it. One strategy that will help build your repetition and ranking in SEO. It's called the progressive SEO strategy. Now this one is for those who are still new to the SEO and want to implement optimization of searching into their website, but they don't know where to start. So this is where you start. This strategy is your beginning. So let's get to it. First, you have to know that this strategy isn't stable. It's always prone to change during any time and under certain circumstances. And that is because, of course, the internet environment isn't stable and is full of new opportunities every day. This is our way in. We're going to use this unstable environment so we can start implementing an SEO strategy. In the beginning, we will need to find low competition keywords, and we mentioned before the reason. It's because they can guarantee for us a better ranking than the higher ones. So we're going to do the keyword research very normally and collect our low competition keywords, put them in a list, and start creating content for them. We already did all of that, so there's nothing new here. The change happens when you actually start getting higher ranking and better traffic. When that happens and you notice some improvements on your website, this means that your SEO plan is ready for an upgrade, or you can call it a promotion. This means that we can now use a tiny bit higher competition keywords than the ones we previously used. And again, wait until we gain traffic plus ranking and therefore we can do another update. And so on, this is how this strategy is gonna go. And that's why we call this the progressive strategy, because you make progress as you go. Now, of course, if you think your traffic started going a bit down and so the ranking, then it's totally okay to take a step back and use some lower competition keywords and then again reuse the higher ones when you gain traffic again afterwards. So you get the point. This is why we told you that it's prone to many changes. Just as long as you get the measurements right, you can make the right decisions and choices. And by time, you'll see the progress that you're making with this strategy, and eventually you'll be using some relatively high competition keywords that your competitors will wish that they would use. So as you can see, it's a ladder that you'll be climbing step by step. And this is what makes this strategy perfect for new people that are looking for a very basic SEO plan. Welcome guys to the new chapter of this course. It's called On-Page SEO Factors. So basically, we'll be talking about things that are on your page that affect your SEO ranking in multiple ways. Most of them were already mentioned in previous videos, but we didn't get through the details of them, which is what we'll be doing in this chapter. So today, we'll start by talking about something called mobile compatibility. What is it? So mobile compatibility is a way of measuring whether your website is compatible with mobile devices or it just works on your computer device, but isn't really going well with other mobile phones. So again, it's a way of telling whether your website is well functioning on mobile devices or not. Now, why would you think that something like this can be important? Mobile compatibility could be important for so many reasons. I mean, just think about it. Billions of people own mobile devices and most of them are constantly using it throughout their day. And will also most probably do some internet browsing as well. So it could be a very wasted opportunity if your website isn't well functioning or maintained for these devices. Now, beside all of that, from the perspective of SEO, here's the thing. Google actually checks whether your website is compatible with mobile devices or not, and will really judge you on that with a suitable ranking. So why not actually make it compatible? There's nothing to lose. Now, the things you want to keep an eye for when making your website compatible with mobile phones are the following. Make sure your load speed is fast, that your design is the same or at least can be viewed on mobile phones and it doesn't look like a total disaster. And also make sure that your page is still organized and there aren't any some text floating out of its area or images that are misplaced. Stuff like that can be often annoying to many users. So the summary of it, just make sure your website is mobile compatible, because not only this will get you more traffic and will give you access to a wider range of audience, but it will also put you in a better place when talking about SEO rankings. What Robots.txt does for your search ranking. This is the second factor we have when we talk about on-page SEO factors. So of course, you know what crawlers are and you have an idea on how they actually work. But here's the thing. Some crawlers won't crawl your website the way you want it to do. In other words, we mean that the crawlers may overlook some content or even choose a wrong sequence of crawling, which may lead it to misjudge and miscalculate the ranking of your website. And of course, this can lead to disasters. So when web developers found out that this issue was constantly existing with different people, they came up with one solution, the robots.txt file. So what is that? Well, the robots.txt file is just like any txt file. It's a file that is a part of your website. You create that file by yourself and you put some instructions into it to guide the crawler or robot that is going to crawl your website so that you can crawl it properly. It's as if your program is to tell them the right crawling way of using your website. Why is it important? Now, the benefits of this file is that you can put some useful instructions into it, like telling the crawler which pages to crawl first and which pages to crawl later. Or for example, let's say you have a bad page or a bad influence on your website or even an unfinished page. You can also instruct the crawler in your file to not crawl that page. And that's why this file can be very useful when you want to guide the crawlers. And since the crawlers are the ones determining your ranking on search engines, in the end, there is no better way to guide them correctly through your page. You can say it's as if you're welcoming a guest in your house and you show them the different rooms and parts of it, but according to your needs, according to how you want it to be done. And that's really it. That's what the robots.txt file is about. Hello to another video. Now today, we'll discuss something called a sitemap. A sitemap is a file placed in the roots of your server to facilitate the process of crawling your website for search engines. It's basically a list of all the pages of your website. So when you create it, you're basically telling the crawler, here are all the pages in my website. You can crawl them one by one without having to do it manually and check your site for addresses and all of this. So it's a major plus if you want to automate the creation of a map for your site. It's just like a normal map, but for your website. Now there are two ways to create a sitemap correctly. The first one is to write it by yourself. It's very simple. You just open a notepad file and you start writing some tags including your website. Just like this image right here from Wikipedia. Your sitemap should look something like this. Or you can choose the other way, which is to do it through a sitemap generator. And there are many of these services online available, and really the best thing is that they are free. So this can be very helpful if you want to automatically make a sitemap. Or if you don't trust these generators, you can still of course do it by yourself. It's not that complicated. And finally, some tools called webmaster tools, which we'll be dealing with later in our course, But you can submit this sitemap to your preferred search engines after creating them with one of these three methods. So really, all you have to do is just pick one method and create a sitemap for your website and then submit it to the search engine. So to conclude, sitemaps are very easy to create and they really help your crawlers, and that's something we want to do so we can be more eligible for better rankings if the crawler is happy with our page content. And plus, there's really nothing to lose at all when creating a sitemap for your website. It can even be useful for you to list all your pages and get a sense of how your website is all linked together. Welcome everyone again. So carrying on with our factors, we'll be talking about HTTPs, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Now, when your website starts with HTTPS instead of HTTP, it means that your website is a secure website that people can safely trust. And really, it does matter to most of people when they see that HTTPS word beside your link or beside the address of your link. This basically tells them that you're a page that they can fully browse without any worries in mind, whether it's viruses or scams that they're afraid of. They will know that your website is real and legit and won't be containing any of these fake things, which is of course will bring more people to your website. Not just that, we have to look at it from the SEO perspective. The SEO perspective tells us that search engines definitely prefer HTTPS 100% than HTTP websites. And we'll say that again and again through the whole course. Since users like something, then search engines will provide more of it. It's the same concept here. Since users engage more often with HTTPS websites, search engines will prefer them and is more likely to give them a higher ranking. This alone is a good proof that when building your website from the very beginning, you must aim for it to be a secure one. It will really make huge differences later on. So this is something that once it is done, it becomes really worth it and you will see for yourself. So in conclusion, make sure your website is HTTPS instead of HTTP, because that's in favor of everything, starting from your audience to your new SEO plan. Hello guys, welcome to another on-page factor of SEO, which is outbound links. So outbound links are pretty much the links you place on your website that redirect the users to other pages or other websites. Now these are considered an important factor in SEO because the crawlers actually follow these links to see if your website isn't just providing good content but also providing good links. So the outbound links can actually really affect the way you rank in search engines because of how the crawlers see your website. Now our advice here is just to make sure that when you add them to your page, make sure that you use good outbound links. And by good, we mean famous, high competition websites, because these websites, as they thrive and gain more traffic, they will drag you with them along their way. So if they rise, you rise. If they fall back in the rankings, you fall too. That's why choosing the right outbound links is one of the most important things on page SEO factors. And also, we will talk later more on outbound links because it will play a big part in our link building strategy later on. One of the most popular languages of creating websites is HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. It's basically pieces of code that consist of multiple tags that describe how your page is going to look like. It decides the design of your page. It's also called the building blocks of the website. Now, since HTML is a code, we want to make sure that it is free of any errors or mistakes. And if it is actually perfect and free of any errors, then we can actually call it valid HTML. If your HTML is invalid or faces problems like closing tags or ampersands or missing quotations, then search engines will probably not like it. That's why we want to ensure that our HTML is clear of any problems like the one we just mentioned. And for you to do that, just make sure your code looks pretty and well organized so you can actually detect these mistakes easily and be able to fix it immediately. And that's really all you need to worry about when talking about valid HTML. Just make sure your code is mistake free. Hello and welcome to another on-page SEO factor. And today's factor is considerably one of the most important ones. It's your site performance. Now, we haven't put any image or animation because your website's performance and its relation with your ranking is something very raw. So it's going to be focused on our speech more than animations and the photos we put. So let's start. We're going to talk about how your website performance can actually affect your ranking. First of all, by website performance, we mean a lot of things, such as your website load speed or the amount of visitors and traffic it's getting, how long people are staying on your website. All of these are factors that when combined together, they make the website's performance. So basically, the statistics of your website. Now, how does that affect your ranking? Well, it actually has a massive effect on it. The faster your page loads, the better user experience you'll have, so that's going to increase your ranking, of course. Also, when the same people revisit your website over and over and over, this can be just the best proof that your website performance is very high and that people like your website with its content. So this can also improve your ranking. And actually, not just the revisits, but also the duration of people staying on your website. How long are these people going to stay on your pages and interact with them? This plays a major role in boosting your ranking. The longer they stay, the more it means that your website's performance is high, and therefore you'll definitely get a way better ranking. However, if people tend to just open your page and immediately close it, this means that your content isn't that useful, and therefore search engines won't be putting you in good high rankings. So really, that's how your website's performance affects your ranking. Now you know that, and you can benefit from it in optimizing your performance to the best. Today's topic is Semantic HTML, which is also one of the on-page SEO factors. Semantic HTML is very similar to the normal HTML. Or actually, you can say it's a subset of it, except that it's a bit similar. Semantic HTML is more real and is more close to the real language. It focuses on the meaning rather than just the presentation of your page. It lets you divide your code into different accessible sections, like paragraphs, sections. It basically lets you divide your page and adds more organization to it. And of course, since it's more organized and will put your website in a better layout, Google and other search engines will definitely prefer it. This means that they'll put you in a higher ranking, of course, since it tends to make your page easier to read and crawl. So you're facilitating the way in for the robots of search engines to fully scan your website and understand it very easily. That's why we highly advise you to use it on your page. And like that, we can of course mark it as one more important on-page SEO factor. And at this stage, we pretty much covered most of the on-page SEO factors that you need to check and consider when creating your website. We're moving on now to the next chapter. Hello guys and welcome to a new chapter in the SEO course. It's going to be about link building, which is something that can put you ranking in the highest position or make you fall at the back of the rankings. So it's very important to know the importance of link building, because it's a very unique factor and you have to considerably take care of it. But let's first get to know what it is. So what is link building? Well, link building is the process of getting links from other websites and adding them to your own. So when users check your page and see these links, they interact with them and eventually leave from your website to the other one that you provided. So it's all about links. Now, a lot of people think that it's not right to drive people to pages outside of their website because they think that they're helping the competitors like this. But actually, you're not just helping the competitors out, you're helping yourself and your website. Because the crawlers of search engines, when they crawl, they will look for those links and they open them and check if they're useful and judge your rating according to that. So as you can see, it's a relationship support. And it doesn't just affect your normal ranking, but it also affects your trust factor and your trust rank to search engines. The more powerful the link building is, the more trustworthy you become to search engines and again to websites. And forget about SEO for a second. The link building isn't just good for the purpose of searching only, but it's also great for your website in general, as it tends to add more interactions to it, and it will build relationships between you and other websites. And trust us on this, the more interactive and fresh your website becomes, the higher traffic you'll get, and you'll come a step closer to a better ranking. What we also want to tell you is that link building isn't just about the links you add on your website, but it's also about your links, the links that you give to other websites, the social media interactions and the social shares you get, and many more things. But this is just a basic idea of what link building is, and we'll see what else we can get from link building in the next video. Welcome again guys to another video, and today's purpose is to prove to you that link building is something that will never go away. It's something that will stick to you forever, and here's why. First, link building is your reputation. When you add a link to your website, it becomes part of it. The link will affect you as if it is one of the pages of your website. It's like you adopted this link and it plays a major role on your website's name or reputation. The crawlers of any search engines will check these links to see if they're trustful and reliable sources. And then compare the content in your website with theirs, and if they see a match or similarities, then you'll get awesome ranking rewarding. The second reason that link building is staying with you forever is that you and the other website become connected to each other, which means that if the website rises, you rise too, and if they fall, you fall with them. So both of you become each other's supporters, and this eventually means that once you start with link building, it won't end easily, and it'll stay with you for a very long time. So in short, start with link building your website as early as possible, and do it wisely, and pick your allies' websites that you know will lift you up with them, so you can actually guarantee higher and better rankings once and for all. How to build links that benefit you? That is going to be your question when you want to start link building. First, you have to know that there are multiple types of links that you can add to your website. The first type is organic links. These are the links that you naturally get from other sources who want to link to your content. And these definitely give you a lot of traffic. So our advice to get this one is to focus on the content. Post creative, good content every day that people will definitely want to be connected to. So if you write good content, then these of course will come easily. The second type is outreach links. And these are the websites that you reach out for, like publishers or webmasters that you want to add links to their website. And you would usually need to do this to start with a connection with these websites and build relationships with them. You can say teaming up with these websites. It's as if you were letting them give you a hand so you can be part of them and eventually benefit from them. And that is of course because you think they are a good website. So don't forget about this type because it's really urgent to maintain a good link building plan. So far, we give links and we get links. Both are equally important. One to drive traffic directly, and the other is also for driving traffic but indirectly. So, the third type. Well, the third type of links is the owned links, and these links are the ones that you own. Whether you have multiple websites or one of your blogs, anything that belongs to you or your business can be put under this category of links. And with these, you can use the give links, get links technique at the same time, by referring to your websites on each one of them. So really, the best advantage you have with these links is that you're fully under control and you can do whatever you want whenever you need them. And the final type we have is social shares. So as much as these aren't technically links, but we consider them as important. Because whenever your website gets shared on Facebook, YouTube, or any social platform, this will really give your search ranking a boost. So make sure you're active on social media. Start sharing your links today and eventually the audience will follow if your content is interesting enough, of course. So now these were the 4 types of links that you want to focus on. And our goal here is to include all of them in our website. And your key of unlocking them all is simply just one single thing. Your content. We said it once and we'll say it a million. SEO is equal to content. No content, then everything you did or will fall and all your efforts will be useless. So provide good content, or wait, even good isn't enough. Provide fantastic content, then after making sure you have the thing that will grab people's attention, go ahead and start expanding these 4 types of links, and we hope you have found our videos on link building useful. How social media affects SEO. Social media websites or applications may appear to you like any other website that has its own plan and strategy. Except that the true thing here is that social media affects your search engine optimization plan. Yes, it actually does. And of course, indirectly without ever you noticing. And today, we'll explain to you how exactly this happens. So let's start. First, social media gives you more visibility and traffic. And here's our proof. Go ahead and Google any business company name. The first thing you will get is their website, of course. But next to their website, you'll find all the social profiles of that company stated here under its information. So for me, as a user, I'm going to see which social platform I'm comfortable with the most, and I'm gonna check your company through it. Whether it's a Facebook page or a YouTube channel, it doesn't matter. So as we can see, what social media did right here is that it allowed people to check my website through it. And of course, this will help you in getting a better ranking. Now secondly, it allows you to extend the life of your website's content. Social media plays a major role in supporting your content. Let's say you have an old post that stopped getting the right traffic you wanted. Share that post again on social media, and if it's still interesting, those who haven't checked it will. And they might even start sharing it as well. And like that, you just revived a dead piece of content in your website. And of course, since SEO is all about content, then social media actually appears to be more useful to SEO than we could have ever thought. Let's not also forget that crawlers get some information about your website from your social media websites. Things like reviews on your page and services, contact info, locations. These things really help fill the voids that crawlers needed to know on your website, so they can actually give you the proper ranking. So as we can see, social media fills the voids for the crawlers. So now you know how social media affects SEO in multiple ways. And in the next videos of this chapter, we'll be talking about each social media platform and how it affects SEO separately. So stay tuned. Facebook is the biggest online social platform in the entire world, with 2.27 billion monthly active users. Does that huge online platform affect your SEO ranking? Short answer, yes. And there are actually many reasons behind this, so let's check them out one by one. Number 1. The possibility of getting links. Since Facebook is the social media that has the highest amount of visits every day, there's a very high possibility that if you get shares on your social media, your content will be seen by many people who would want to link to your website. And this will get you the organic traffic that you just needed and definitely give you a ranking upgrade. Number 2. The right audience. Facebook allows you to choose from many options when sharing a post or even advertising, to ensure that your content reaches the right people who might be potentially interested in checking it. So there's really no better way to build a proper audience, and after building the audience, you will have people who constantly check your page and await your new content. And as we said before, the revisits you get affect your ranking, which make this factor another one in affecting SEO. Number 3. Giving Google your brand name. If you successfully made your brand name on Facebook, this one just lets you expand and be more recognizable. But it'll inform Google about your brand name, so when people write your brand name next to a specific keyword in the search engine, you eventually become related to that keyword. See what just happened there? And people might end up finding you without typing your brand name in the search bar. Just by typing the keyword, they will be related to you. So this is another major plus of Facebook and SEO. So as we can see, the possibilities of Facebook affecting your SEO is truly limitless. But the best thing is, it can go wrong. So consider expanding on Facebook so you can get these advantages in your SEO plan today. In this video, we'll be talking about how Twitter affects SEO. So after a lot of research, we discovered that Twitter can be used as a major SEO supporter in many situations. And here are actually some of them. Number 1. Content tweeting. As much as Facebook had tons of users every day, Twitter as well has a high number of users, and the best thing about it is that it lets these users share the content with a simple retweet button. And you might just end up getting viral after all. So Twitter will give you a great boost to your content, and it'll allow you to get more traffic to the content and eventually increase your SEO ranking. Number 2. The hashtags. Hashtags can be actually used in many situations that will benefit you so much, especially if you have a purpose or a catchy phrase or slogan, something that people will love to say. It's as if Twitter gives you the microphone and you become the people's voice. That hashtag can become a trend or even appear in the trending section of Twitter. This won't just give you traffic, but it'll also make you search engines believe that you're a famous website that people like, and they will definitely award you with a better ranking. Number 3. Brand recognition. Just like any social platform, Twitter can actually help you in building a brand recognition plan, which is making people determine your logo or name whenever they see it. And when you get retweets, followers, and even likes on Twitter, you'll start appearing on many timelines with your name next to what you posted. So of course, appearing with your name next to what you posted is one of the best ways to implement your brand recognition strategy. And actually, it doesn't just stop there. We can keep talking about how Twitter helped you expanding and getting more popular, which is of course all in favor of SEO. Pinterest has become one of the most famous visual graphics and specifically images websites. Why is that? It's because Google and other search engines made it available for everyone when searching for graphics. If I Google a specific photo or description of an image, I'll most probably end up visiting Pinterest as a redirect from Google. So we get now that search engines really tend to appreciate Pinterest because of its usability and the many businesses that sign up for it. And that's where we come in and try to benefit from it. It all starts by creating a Pinterest account and choosing a catchy SEO friendly name, and it ends with you being in the higher rankings of search engines, of course. So the process is exactly like this. You post your articles along with their images on Pinterest, which is called a pin, while linking your website. So when people Google the keywords of your articles, they will either end up on your main website or on your Pinterest post. And in both ways, it doesn't make much of a difference, because they will get to your content and they will access your link and visit your intended page. So what Google really does is helping you with Pinterest if you prove to provide useful content. And when you get the visits, whether on your pin or on your main article, or even when people started pinning your article, Google will reward you as it automatically connects the both parties together, and it will check how often you get interactions with them. So in short, make sure you think about Pinterest when wanting to expand and get better rankings. It's very easy to sign up for it, and it will really help you in promoting your articles. And actually, it doesn't just stop at Pinterest, but all the social media platforms, even the ones we haven't mentioned like YouTube or Instagram, or even MySpace or Blogger, Flickr, all of these social media platforms could possibly help you in sharing your links and engaging with them. So these will allow you to follow your content as well. And each social media has its own way of connecting with search engines. So the best thing you could do is to ensure you've signed up on most of these social websites, and that you're constantly active and sharing your content, and most importantly, you're connected with your audience and there's a strong link between you and them. Because these people are going to be the ones who will support your content in the worst times, which will guarantee that you never fall back in the rankings and that you keep ranking higher and higher. Hello guys, welcome to a very important new chapter, Google Analytics. As usual, we'll start by explaining what Google Analytics is. So, Google Analytics is a free analytics service or tool that is offered by Google, and it basically allows you to track website traffic. It also gives you insights into how users find and use your website. It can also let you track your ads or social campaigns. It also lets you know many information, like how people are discovering you, how long are they staying on your website, what are the devices used to view your website. It'll give you many information that can be extremely useful to you so you can find out where are your weak points and what are your pluses. So it's considered as the statistics of your website interactions. And Google Analytics is just hugely beneficial when it comes to tracking your website performance. And a tool like this can help you predict whether you're a good website that will be rewarded and will appear more often in search engines, or you're more likely to have a drop in your SEO plan. So it allows you to exactly determine what's going wrong with your website, so you can try and fix it. And that's just a general idea on what Google Analytics is. And in the next video, we're going to tell you why you should definitely use it and how it affects your SEO plans and strategies. As we said in the previous video, Google Analytics is a very powerful tool that can let you determine the amount of traffic you're getting and how many users are often visiting your website, and it allows you to determine statistics on your audience. And not just that, but also ads, interactions, and many more things. But maybe all of these aren't enough reasons for you to use Google Analytics. So here are some convincing reasons. Number 1, it's free. Yes, it is free. And we can expect that a professional tool like this will be quite pricey. But the surprise here is that Google Analytics is truly available at no cost at all. There are rumors that it might be not free in the future, but till today it's free, so why not use it while we can and benefit from it? Number 2, it has a very user-friendly interface. It's also very easy to understand and interact with, allowing you to choose from many options and checkmarks that'll help you do the things you wish you could do and get information you always wanted to get with just a simple few clicks. Also, it's very easy to learn, and we're gonna walk you through many things with Google Analytics in this chapter. Number 3, and this is a major plus, it allows you to set goals for your website. You can start an SEO strategy without setting goals to it. Actually, no strategy ever worked without setting goals. So a tool that allows you to do that and give you the opportunity to track the progress of achieving these goals can come in quite handy in our plan. So combine this advantage with the others like the user-friendly interface and the easy accessibility, and you've got yourself some good reasons that you should start using Google Analytics right now. Hello guys, and welcome to this video. Today, we'll finally explain to you how to get to use Google Analytics, and specifically in analyzing keywords. To do this, we're going to use a tool called Keyword Planner. This tool will allow us to search for new keywords every single day, and will eventually help us when creating new content so we can know what are the necessary keywords that we're aiming for. So let's get started. First, we're going to set up an account on Google Ads. It's very simple, just Google Ads and sign in with your Google account. Then this page will pop up. Choose what kind of business you have and a website or a mobile app, then fill in some information and put your website's URL. And then scroll down and you'll find data sharing settings. We highly recommend that you check them all and then click Get Tracking ID. Like this, you have successfully created an account. Now, you can click on Tools in the upper menu, then Keyword Planner. That's what you're going to find. So click on Find New Keywords so you can get ideas that can help you score and rank better in search results by using them. So just click Find New Keywords. And after that, enter the keywords you want to get information about. In the example, we entered mobile phones. And then click Get Started. Now this huge page full of info will pop out. And you have so many options you can choose from. Let us break them down for you. So here you have the names of the keywords. And if you click on the word keyword, you'll actually sort them by relevance, whether from high to low or the other way around. And then you have the average monthly searches. And this is going to be the number of people searching for this specific keyword per month. But be careful, if we look up there, you'll see the location selected is Egypt. So the searches we're talking about are going to be in Egypt. And then you have whether this keyword is of high competition or low competition. Remember? These were the ones determining the amount of websites using it, and whether they're famous or not. And as we said before, it's always better to start with low competition keywords. The ad impression share is a comparison that compares that amount of impressions you received from using that keyword, divided by the amount of searches the keyword is getting in a specific location. Top of page bid is the lowest amount of money advertisers spend on their ads that use these specific keywords to get on top of the pages of Google. And on the other hand, Top of paid bid is the high range or the highest amount of money advertisers spend on their ads that use these keywords to get also in the higher rankings of Google. So these give you an idea on how much exactly you should be spending if you're advertising these keywords. And finally, account status shows whether the keyword is in your plan or not. Now the best thing about Keyword Planner is you can actually download the keyword ideas that you get by clicking here, and it'll download them as an Excel file. So now you know how to get new keywords every single day with that super beneficial tool. We hope you have found this tutorial useful and that you learned how to use the Keyword Planner strategically. Thank you guys. Hello guys, carrying on with our analytics tutorial, today we will discuss demographics and some extra other data that can be useful in analytics, specifically to study and determine your audience. So let's get into the details. So first, sign into your Google Analytics account, then from the left panel, click on that tiny settings button. It's called admin. And then you'll see a section called property. You want to click on property settings. A new page will appear. So scroll down in the property settings until you find enable demographics and interest reports under advertising features. Make sure it's set to on. Then scroll down and click save. Just like we can see in this image right now. So property images and then enable demographics and interest reports, make sure it's on, then click save. After that, you'll find in the left panel under the report section, audience. Click on it, then demographics. Then after that, overview. That's what you'll get, a new window that has so many demographics on your audience. Let us break it down for you. In this example, we can see a percentage of people who made a purchase. However, this segment is custom made, and you can create yours by clicking Add Segment and inserting your own link that you want to study how many people are visiting. And then it shows you the percentage of sessions that this report is based on. And here you have the age demographics of users visiting your website. And on the right, you have the gender demograph. So as we can see, these can be extremely useful when wanting to get information on our audience. And we have more than demographics. If you actually click on Audience Overview, you'll get a very basic intel on your users, such as the number of visitors you get every day, and whether they're new or not, whether they're returning visitors, and if the amount of visitors is increasing or decreasing. You can get the very general information on your audience right from here. So Google Analytics offers you many more tools that we'll discuss in the next video, so stay tuned because we're not done yet. Hello guys, and welcome to our last video in this chapter. We're going to discuss some other analytics tool that you will surely benefit from in detecting so many information about your website. It's impossible to determine these information on your own without an analytical tool. It'll be very difficult. That's why Google Analytics tools save you time and effort, and you can truly benefit from them. So let's see what other tools we have. We have the Acquisition Reports tool. This will show you how is your website getting its traffic, and what's the most successful source that brings visitors to your website. We have examples like organic search, direct, referral, social, and other. These are the top channels that bring users to your website. And again, you have session where it detects the engagement and traffic throughout time. And then conversions, which detects how your links and conversions are performing on your website. And whether they're in decline or success, you can determine that from right here. The example here is a mailing list. And you have additional details on these channels, such as determining which one is bringing you new users and which one is giving you the perfect bounce rate. Oh, the bounce rate. The bounce rate is the percentage of people who visit only the page they land on, but then closes your website. Next, we have behavior tools. This one allows you to track the page views, unique page views, which excludes the people who revisit your website, and then the average time that users spend on page, and the bounce rate again, but we just explained that. And then we have the exit rate, which is the rate of people making the selected page as their last page. It means that this is going to be the last page that they visited before closing your website. And you can see these statistics on any page of your website, so you can study the performance of each. And the final tool we have, we're going to discuss the real-time tool. This one gives you a real-time report on how many people are currently on your page, as in the meantime. while also telling you how exactly did these people discover your website. Whether it's via organic search or directly visited the website and the other methods you already know about. And it also gives you the time that these people have been staying on your page. And it just doesn't end there. There are many more features and tools, but we'll leave the rest for you to discover, because we think the best way to discover Google Analytics is to practice it with yourself, and allow yourself to dive deep into its tiniest feature. And within a week of using it, you can easily become a master of Google Analytics. So good luck with your Google Analytics experience, and we hope you have found this chapter useful. Hello and welcome to a new chapter in the SEO Authority course. So we kept mentioning a lot of times throughout the whole course, until now, the importance of the content that you post on your website. That's why this chapter will be primarily focused on the content design and how to have an organized, superior one. We're going to start with this video by telling you how much content you should exactly have on your page. So let's get going. The proper question behind the amount of content you should have on your page would be, what's the maximum content you should have on your page before your audience start to get uninterested and bored, and eventually leave your website? So first, we're going to determine what kind of contents we should be having a lot of, and this is going to be the text content. Add a lot of text in all of your pages. It's the easiest thing to detect by SEO, and it also allows you to choose from many topics and ideas. And that's how you actually implement your keywords. So focus on text, it's our main content here. We think it's the best to keep your text ranging from 800 to 2000 words. And it all depends on the subject, of course. For example, if you've chosen something that really requires a lot of explanation and information, then it's okay to post long articles. However, it's not okay to have a small subject and try to stretch it and stuff it with keywords so you can make it longer. That's not gonna really work here. Number 2, we also don't want to forget about the images, as those play a huge part in the visuals of your page. If you are providing good pictures, then it'll add beauty to the looks of your website, and this can attract many visitors to your website, because literally no one likes to visit an ugly website. And the amount of photos you should be adding also depend on how many words your article is, but you can check this ratio and add a photo for each 400 words. So try to stay around that range so you don't spam your website with unnecessarily excessive amount of photos, or in the opposite way, forget to include any photos at all in your website. So maintain a good balance there. Now, one more thing we can talk about is the buttons. Buttons are the things that make your people move from page to another and navigate through your website. So these should be nicely looking and professionally done. Each button needs to have a proper name or anchor text that is fitting to its role or the page it's driving people to. Normally, it's best to include them in your header and footer, and their amount should range from 5 to 12. But to be honest, the lesser the better, the less likely you'll make people confused, of course. So that was just an introduction to your new superior content design. We're just getting started with this chapter, so keep in touch for the next videos. Hello guys, today we'll be talking about how many types of content you should be targeting when implementing an SEO plan. So the first thing you're going to put on your plan is the type of content you're going to target. So choose from 3 to 5 different types of content and not more than that. And this is majorly important. Make sure that these types are somehow connected to each other. For example, if you're targeting mobile devices, you can choose content like social media, mobile applications, and cellular data, for example. As you can see, these are 3 different types that are related to our key topic here, which is mobile phones. So that's how you determine these topics. But that's not our case here. By type here, we mean something else. We mean the videos, the infographic, the blog posts, the email newsletters, the social media updates. All of these are the types of content that we mean. So let's get into it. Number 1, videos. Videos have become one of the best advertising ways in the online business industry. The amount of views it could get and the engagement and the messages that you can deliver to people are truly limitless with them. And they are quite easy as a study case. You can easily determine their views and interactions and duration. So a good option would always be to provide some videos on your page. Now, number 2 is infographics. As much as people don't love preparing statistics, they definitely love reading it because it's much easier. And it actually gives more realism to the topic, and it makes people relate to it in their real life, while dividing their thoughts into different sections. So it's really good to make people think in your website and include some of these on your preferred topics. Alternatively, you can use case studies. They are also just as effective. And number 3 are the social media posts. Social media posts can either make you or break you. These are your backbones and the links to your audience. If you decided to target these and focused on getting traffic for them, it'll really affect your branding recognition and the organic traffic also that you'll be getting on your website. So never neglect the power of social media, never neglect the power of people. So always put that in mind when targeting specific content, and always put in mind that by getting shares and likes, you're getting highly promoted. And there are many more content you can target, such as checklists, white papers, or even GIFs. But the ones we talk about in details are the most important ones that you should primarily put all of your attention on. So thank you guys. Hello guys, in today's video, we will teach you how to use analytics to design better content. So we already taught you how to use Google Analytics to get information and insights on your website's performance and your audience. But what we haven't told you is that you can actually use analytics to design better content. Here's how. First, you can check what are the pages that people interact with the most, so you can know which page gave you the right traffic. And then try to analyze this page by checking its content, its design, and basically everything in it from A to Z. Try to benefit as much from this page while also asking one important question. Why is this the most successful page on my website? On the other hand, you can also determine which pages aren't performing as you expected them to do. And these ones are going to be your target. You'll have to work on those and match with them with better content, so they can actually follow up to the good ones. So analytics here will help you detecting the weak points of a web page content design. Now here's what we call the big change. Apply small changes to the whole website and see how are these going to affect your analysis. Check whether it's going to give you more or less traffic. If you get less traffic, then go back to the old plan, easy. If you get more traffic, then you proceed to a more enhanced version of the new plan and keep evolving your design. So here, you'll be required to apply the design to the whole web page. So of course it requires a bit of a risk taker. However, it's totally okay to go with this strategy if you applied very tiny changes, even if they'll possibly not affect your traffic immediately, but after some time that you made some changes, you should be able to know the difference before and after. And these were actually the best ways you can use analytics to design unique and better content. You can see it's all trial and error until you can get one specific plan that could be the game changer for your website forever. So keep trying and don't ever stop analyzing and solving the problems of your website's content design. Hello guys, and today we'll dive straight into our topic, which is why consistency will win over everything else. Why consistency is your main key when designing and posting content. So let's go. First, you want your website to feel very comfortable to the users, that they can track the content easily and have the time to read every important aspect of it. So to do that, you need to have an organized, consistent website design that people can favorite and come back to constantly. So all you need to do is create a good template for your website that has comfortable colors and make sure that the colors and the visuals are matching. And of course, you have to make sure that they won't hurt the user's eyes. They have to be very comfortable and simple as much as possible. And also be as organized as possible in your design. Number 2 in consistency is to build a strategic pattern. Make a pattern to your content so that every single event leads to the next one on your page. Like that, users can get excited to know or learn more about the specific topic on your website. Don't just go and write too much words without a specific sequence in your mind. You have to prepare for your content and build a plan of how you're going to post it. So there has to be a sequence that links your content all together. After doing that, your content will be very easy to read and eventually people will follow it. The third aspect we have in consistency is your formatting, which has to be very simple. Keep a constant header, body, and footer for your pages, and if you're going to apply changes to them separately, then make the changes minimal. Also, make sure that you don't use too many text fonts and use only 2 or 3 as your maximum. and make sure that they are very simple and they can help your users in reading and focusing on your articles. So format your text properly and also make sure you don't put low resolution images or videos on your website as content. So keep everything you have as professional as possible, and in the end, you will notice that the more consistent you become, the more improvements you'll be getting. Hello guys, in today's video, we will teach you how to use analytics to design better content. So we already taught you how to use Google Analytics to get information and insights on your website's performance and your audience. But what we haven't told you is that you can actually use analytics to design better content. Here's how. First, you can check what are the pages that people interact with the most, so you can know which page gave you the right traffic. And then try to analyze this page by checking its content, its design, and basically everything in it from A to Z. Try to benefit as much from this page while also asking one important question. Why is this the most successful page on my website? On the other hand, you can also determine which pages aren't performing as you expected them to do. And these ones are going to be your target. You'll have to work on those and match with them with better content, so they can actually follow up to the good ones. So analytics here will help you detecting the weak points of a web page content design. Now here's what we call the big change. Apply small changes to the whole website and see how are these going to affect your analysis. Check whether it's going to give you more or less traffic. If you get less traffic, then go back to the old plan, easy. If you get more traffic, then you proceed to a more enhanced version of the new plan and keep evolving your design. So here, you'll be required to apply the design to the whole web page. So of course it requires a bit of a risk taker. However, it's totally okay to go with this strategy if you applied very tiny changes, even if they'll possibly not affect your traffic immediately, but after some time that you made some changes, you should be able to know the difference before and after. And these were actually the best ways you can use analytics to design unique and better content. You can see it's all trial and error until you can get one specific plan that could be the game changer for your website forever. So keep trying and don't ever stop analyzing and solving the problems of your website's content design. Welcome guys to another video, and today we'll give you the guide on how to curate your content and win so many things. Win your audience, your traffic, and finally, your search engine ranking. So there are lots of factors and tips that can help you do that. So let's get to it. So your content should be composed of two essential things: what your audience cares about and the true value that your business provides. Let both of these meet halfway and you've got yourself some very decent content that will be more likely spreading your value or message to all the audience who read your content, and at the same time, it'll grab the user's attention because it's something that they care about. So make sure to balance both of these two ingredients because they are the essentials of curating your content. Number 2, use analytics. Benefit from your analytics in finding out what types of content that your audience like. Do they like polls, videos, or images? All of these things can be determined from Google Analytics. So try to find out what's in favor of your audience and put a good plan to do it. Number 3, be clear. A lot of websites may have interesting titles that grab the user's attention, but unfortunately, when they read it, they can get lost in the content and in the end, not find what they were looking for. So make sure your website isn't one of those, and that you're providing 100% clear content. You have to be 100% clear about what you are providing. You have to be certain that you are providing reasonable answers and solutions to what people are facing or looking for. And also be direct and clear without introducing so many unnecessary things. If the users came for an answer, then show it to them. And trust us when we tell you that this will help you overcome so many obstacles that will face you in the future when thinking about your content design. Number 4, create meaningful content. Create content with meanings, and finally create content that is meaningful and isn't just random text that is written by a lazy person. You have to write in an exciting way to show people your enthusiasm about your business, and you're actually showing them how far you're willing to go for it. So aim high and be confident about your content. All you really have to do is just think creatively. And that's what you should do for now if you want to curate your content. Focus on these things and focus on the tips we gave you along with the previous ones from the previous videos, and you're really going to be set to provide extremely powerful content. Hello guys, and welcome to the final video in this chapter. Today, we will tell you how to get innovative content ideas for your website. We know that sometimes it can be very confusing to get new content for your page. You may not know where to start, or you're running out of ideas. In both cases, we're here to help. So let's get started. The first thing you can do is using the Keyword Planner. Remember the Keyword Planner tool that we talked about in Google Analytics? This tool can help you in finding related keywords, right? But not just keywords, you can actually find new ideas, as the related keywords you'll be getting will make some creative ideas pop in your head, while also letting you benefit from getting new keywords at the same time. So this can be really useful to get new ideas and to get new keywords also. Number 2, get ideas from competitors. It's totally okay to see what your competitors are providing, and you can think of something similar to it that you're sure can help you. Use your competition as a motive to find new content every day, and see what others are posting and what's making them rise and what's making them fall. Keep an eye on them, as they might give you new ideas that you may have never ever thought about. And number 3, from social media. Whether it's by people that you follow or by people following you, social media is really the best place to see what the audience are thinking about these days. You can benefit from their comments on your posts. Some users will eventually ask you some questions, and some can even ask you for specific topics. So it's always a good idea to satisfy them with a unique piece of content that everyone can find useful. You can get ideas also from Facebook, Twitter, or even YouTube videos. Just search for the keywords that are within your niche on these social platforms, and then you can definitely benefit from the trending hits. Or the most watched posts, for example. These will help you in doing research and generating new content ideas that will help boost your ranking. That's it for today, guys, and we hope you have found your full benefit from our tips and strategies on providing superior content design. Let's move to the next chapter. Hello and welcome, guys. Welcome to the new chapter, which will be focusing on fixing some serious SEO issues. So let's start with the first issues we have, which is your site not showing up in Google. First, to make sure you have followed the right step and did your report, we suppose you already have a Google Webmasters account. So sign into it and make sure you submit your sitemap and make sure that there are pages that Google indexed. If you need help with that, you can go back to the previous chapter where we demonstrated it specifically. Now, what if you did that but still your site isn't showing up? Here are some tips. Number 1, wait. Yes, wait. Sometimes all it takes for your site to show up is just a little bit of time. It might take a week or 2, or in some cases a month. So just don't expect your website to immediately appear. But if you waited and it still didn't show up, then proceed to the next step. The no index tag. Make sure you only add the no index tags to the pages that you want to exclude. A lot of people add this tag and forget about it on their website's code. If this tag is included, it literally tells the crawlers to not crawl this page. So don't expect your website to magically appear while it's already forbidding Google to do its job. So be careful of this. Now, number 3, use lower competition keywords. You might be using very high competition keywords that actually your website has been indexed in Google's database, but unfortunately you're not even appearing in their ranking because of the insignificant huge amount of people who are using the same keywords. This will eventually make your website disappear from the ranking, or it may not even appear at all. So make sure to not use high competition keywords. Number 4, Google's quality guidelines. Make sure you follow Google's quality guidelines, because if you don't, Google might remove your website on purpose because you're providing content that could be against the law or the conditions of Google. So make sure you carefully read and understand the quality guidelines so you can write content that meets its criteria. So these were the most suitable tips that we should be giving you if you haven't found your website listed on Google. So just follow them carefully and hopefully your website will be listed and you'll get a suitable ranking. So good luck with that. Hello guys, today we're going to talk about the second issue you could be facing during your SEO experience, which is your rankings dropping fast. This is something that you'll probably encounter at some point in your trials, and that's why we are here to help you avoid it and even get over it if you faced it. So let's see what you can do. Number 1. Undo changes. Undo any recent changes because sometimes you might apply small changes to your website or certain pages, such as adding or removing links, editing your content such as removing text or images, or even manipulating the keywords themselves. So any change you apply to your website, you have to undo it because there's a huge possibility that it's the reason behind your rankings dropping fast. But if that still doesn't work out for you, you might try the next tip. Fresh content. Make sure your content is still fresh and new. If you neglect your articles and posts, they may not really age well with time, and they might even start losing traffic and clicks. That's why you have to constantly care about every single page on your website, and even update its content to suit the changes happening every day online, because the internet place is such a fast-paced environment. So you have to be very active. Else, you'll leave a chance to your competitors to outrank you, and this is something we're definitely trying to avoid. We're even trying to get ahead of the competition, so be careful of that. And number 3, Google updates. Make sure you check every Google update because being able to keep up with every single new Google update is something that can prevent any rankings drop. Because if you don't, Google may release a new algorithm that can hit your website and eventually penalize you. And that's going to be the reason behind you falling back in the rankings. So make sure you follow all the SEO news online, and generally speaking, make sure your website doesn't have any technical issues or user experience problems, because these are what Google updates focus on the most, and we already talked about this in the previous video. And that's pretty much it. If you follow these 3 tips, then you can safely guarantee that you won't be hit by any update or a competitor, and that your ranking should either be stable or even better, start increasing. So good luck and make sure you follow these tips. Thank you guys. Welcome guys to the final video in this chapter, and today we'll be talking about the last serious issue that a lot of people faced in the past and you might still face in the future. So the issue is getting penalized by Google Penguin. While we already explained what it is and how to protect yourself from it, sometimes it's too late to say that, and all you're really thinking about is making your website recover from the hit. That's why we're here to help, so let's start. Number 1, check your links. For the Penguin to penalize you if you're a good website and if you're sure that you're providing fresh content and you meet all the conditions we talked about, then there's really one way to put it. It's your links. That's why our main tip here is to check all of your links and add good backlinks. There's a high potential that you got penalized because your website is linked to bad website, whether the link is of outreach type or organic type. And the most important thing is to make a list of all those links using Google Webmasters and then start checking which ones are potentially harmful or spammy. Then start devaluing these links one by one until your website only contains good backlinks. And you can do that within Google Webmasters tools by the URL remover link tool. And that's really it. The only things that you may not be in control of are the other websites that link to you, of course. So the harm could definitely be coming from them. And that's why you have to remove those links immediately before they start affecting your rankings real hard. And like that, we have successfully covered most of the problems that you could encounter during your SEO experience. We hope you have found them useful and wait for our new video in the next chapter, so please stay tuned. Hello guys and welcome to a new chapter. Today we're going to talk about something called local SEO. So what is local SEO? Well, to actually give you an explanation to it, it's very simple, because its title says it all. It's the search engine optimization process for the local areas around you, whether you want to target a specific place or even an entire city. And that's what local SEO is about. So, why would you want to optimize for it? Let's see. Now the reason you might want to optimize for it is when you have multiple branches or small shops for your business in different places, you want people who are located near that place to be able to easily find you, right? And even communicate with you. And it will also help them get details about your business, such as the phone number, the exact location on Google Maps, and they'll see how people are reviewing you. So all of these are very important aspects that your users demand. So all of these are things also you can think about when talking about local SEO. And that's exactly what local SEO is about. So guys, this was just a simple introduction to have in mind the definition and meaning of it before we teach you how to target it in the next video. So stay tuned. Hello guys and welcome to another video. Today we'll be talking about how exactly we can target the local SEO keywords and how exactly to find them. Because of course, the keywords themselves, they differ from a place to another. So in order to optimize for local keywords, you have to know the top keywords that are used in your location. So here's how. Number 1, the keyword planner tool. Remember the keyword planner tool that we previously used in Google AdWords or Google Analytics? This has a very useful and nice feature, which is choosing the location. This will allow you to pick the location where you want to study specific keywords. And after choosing the location, you can do so many things and get a lot of data about keywords in that specific region. And also, you can sort them from the most searched to the least, or even from the highest to the lowest competition. Basically, this keyword planner tool gives you many options and varieties in targeting local SEO keywords. That's why it's our favorite thing to use. But then comes another thing that also can be very handy. The Google Autocomplete tool. Another thing you can use is Google Autocomplete. Because after using Keyword Planner and you made sure that you're fully out of suggestions or ideas, yeah, things like this happen. So this is something that can come in extremely helpful. So just go to Google and type in something related to your business and see how it's going to autocomplete. This will give you ideas on what content you should be writing and what are the people in your location interested about the most. So don't forget about this option when running out of any ideas, because it will really help you understand more your audience and understand what are people in your locations looking for. So this can be very important. And right now, these are our 2 suggested and preferred methods to target local SEO keywords. These are the most effective ones. So we're not done yet with our local SEO optimization session, as we have more things to talk about in the next videos, so stay tuned. Hello guys and welcome back again to our course. Today, we're going to talk about getting citations. But first, let's clear the meaning of citations for you so you can get the picture in mind when we're explaining it. So, a citation is any online reference about your business, such as its name or phone number or even email. Anything that roughly describes your business and links to it directly can be viewed as a citation. With a simple condition is that a citation describes your business and only your business, because it's what makes you different from the rest, right? So we can see right here an example of what a citation is. We have the phone number, the location, the website, the working hours, and the location, of course, again, and we have photos. We have lots of things that can be considered as citations. So let's get going and see how we can get them. Number 1, Google My Business. Create a listing on your Google My Business account. Since everything we're doing involves Google, it's not fair to forget about it when we're getting citations and listings for our business. Because actually, Google offers one of the best ways to list your business and enter every single detail you could possibly need or want. So we highly suggest that you use Google My Business. Now number 2, the quality platforms, and these are definitely right after Google. Create listings on quality platforms because there are lots of websites that will help you a lot with citations for your business, and they're actually very famous. Some examples of these platforms we can see here are Apple Maps and Bing and Facebook, Foursquare and Yelp, Twitter. All of these things are quality platforms that can get you citations. And actually all of them are very similar when providing a way for business companies to list their information, But really, we see no reason that you shouldn't be posting your info on all of them. So create an account, it won't take a few minutes for each, and then start entering your info. Sometimes you might have to wait for the platform's approval, but it's all worth it and it's all in favor of your company. So don't worry at all, and don't forget about these platforms when implementing a local SEO plan. And number 3, which is very important but a lot of people tend to forget about it, your website. Don't forget your website, because here's the thing, lots of people tend to forget to list their websites on all of these platforms, and this can be a fatal mistake in the SEO plan, because your website is going to be your main thing for your growth. It's like the heart of SEO plan. It's the thing that has all the content that should be available in search engines, right? So not mentioning it can really affect you in every possible way. It'll affect your traffic, your ranking, the number of people engaging with your website, so don't ever forget about your website. And like that, we have covered the most important tips for getting citations in your local SEO plan. We hope you have found it useful and stay tuned for more. Hello guys, welcome to a new chapter, and as much as this chapter is going to be relatively small, it's still very important for your knowledge in searching. So we're getting started with the definition of this chapter's name, which is called search metadata. So what is search metadata or extra metadata? Let us break it down for you. So metadata literally means data about data, as in information about another information. So it's like a subcategory or listing of the data's features. They are usually found in the HTML code of the website with the tag meta. So what should be written within those tags exactly? Well, they can be used in many features, such as meta description and meta keywords. Here's the thing, let's go. So, a lot of websites tend to use meta tags as a description attribute for their pages. And like that, the search engines take whatever is between those tags and add it as the description of your page in the search results, just like we can see right here in this image. Well, if you Google anything, you get a title and you get some text underneath the title. That's most probably the metadata of the following page. But in order for that to work out properly, the description in the meta tags should be somewhere between 11 to 150 words, and please do not try to add many words, because then the crawlers will get confused and you will get into so many issues that you don't want to get into. So just make the meta tags, like the words in the meta tags, somewhere between 11 to 150 words. As for the meta keywords attributes, well, these were used once in many websites, but unfortunately they ceased to impact rankings at all in 2009. However, the attributes that are still functioning till today are the robots metadata. And they have 4 attributes: index, no index, follow, no follow. You basically use these attributes to guide the crawlers when indexing your website, because you might want to include or exclude certain links or pages, and that's how you use the meta tags right in that situation. So guys, we tend to call these additional metadata because your website would still be functioning 100% properly without them. But these are just to optimize your website and enhance its code, and the way it is designed in general. So that's all for the metadata today. We hope you have found this video useful, and stay tuned because we still got more tips to give. Hello guys, and welcome to another new video. And today we'll be talking about 3 different subjects: microformats, rich snippets, and schema. They are all connected to each other, of course, but they lay on top of each other, or we can say in different layers. That's why we're going to talk about each of them and explain how they are connected to each other. So let's get going. So we're going to start our video by explaining what are microformats. So microformats are the bits of code that basically explains your information. Think of them as a label to your different parts of content. Let's say you have a business phone number. Then these microformats will tell Google or search engines in general that this is their phone number. So basically, it's the code that lets search engines extract the extra information about your website, such as the ratings, the reviews, the phone number, the location. All of these can be extracted because of the microformats. And that's why we think they can be very useful when they actually extract these information, because they help giving your audience more detailed information about you and your business. And we also said that this can really help local business in the previous videos, right? Because such information can come in handy to people who are trying to find details about you. And that's what microformats are about. Moving on to the next thing we have, which is rich snippets. So the rich snippets here are the additional things that are written in the search engine results. Of course, we have the title, the description, but what's new here are the ratings and the votes, just as we can see in this example. So basically, rich snippets allow search engines to interpret what kind of business you are. Are you an app builder? Are you an online store? So it just determines that and put information on Google according to it. And all of these things will help in making you appear more professional on search engines, so don't forget about it. And lastly, we have the schema. So the schema is the piece of code or the semantic vocabulary of tags that you add to your HTML code to get the right rich snippets on Google. So if you want to have rich snippets for your website, then schema is your way of doing it. It's a collaboration between Google, Bing, and Yahoo to get these rich details and show them accordingly on the SERP or search engine results page. And that's right here is a sample of how schema looks like. See how it looks, see how it actually divides your page into different sections, allowing users to immediately visit what they are looking for or what they need. And then we want to take a look at how a schema code looks like in HTML. As we can see, it's actually very simple to interpret, and you can easily put it. And that's pretty much what you need to know about these three things. See how they all connected together in the end? We hope you have found in this chapter useful, and stay tuned for more. Hello guys, and welcome to a new chapter. This chapter is going to be a little bit different, as we're going to talk about something called SEO death. Yeah, this subject is a little bit strong and requires a lot of knowledge about certain SEO related things. So, we're going to split it into 3 parts, each part talking about multiple things concerning the topic. So let's get started with our first video in this chapter, which is our first part in the SEO death chapter. So guys, we're going to start by explaining to you what Black Hat SEO means. So Black Hat SEO is basically when you're implementing an aggressive SEO strategy that focuses only on the search engine tactics, but eventually loses its human aspect. So it's not targeting human audience anymore. It's just trying to go through the various SEO obstacles without caring about who's visiting the website. It's blindly trying to get higher rankings, which of course can sometimes be considered as spam. Because you're trying to put as much keywords and stuff, as much attractions for crawlers so you can actually climb the rankings, which will turn out disastrous in the long term. However, people who are looking for a quick financial return without caring for their reputation sometimes use this technique. But again, these are mostly scams, because no real company would want to have a bad reputation with people, right? So definitely, we highly recommend that you avoid using Black Hat SEO in any possible way. This way, you can actually keep your website safe and make sure that you'll get organic natural visits and that you've got yourself a good reputation. And that's what you really need when making an SEO plan. So how Black Hat works exactly? Well, they mostly use something called spamdexing. What it means is that it basically uses many spam ways to try and index the website in Google's ranking, but of course bad indirect ways, and of course not suitable to the normal human audience. So it's going to be filled with lots of nonsense and fake words, so that's why it's considered as spam. So our tip for you is to stay away from that method at all, even if someone tried to convince you that it's a good method. Just don't use it and stay away from Black Hat SEO at all costs, because this will really destroy you. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is doorway pages. So doorway pages are page optimized with specific generic keywords that ultimately aim at a specific other website. So if you have multiple doorway pages, they will all aim at the same website. And that's why they are called doorway pages, because it's as if they are a doorway to the website. But Google hates these websites because they result in the search results giving redirections to the same website. So this doesn't really help the users in getting various results, right? But actually just getting the same website all over again, which can sometimes be boring. People want to find different results, not the same results. And luckily, Google Penguin came and started to penalize these websites, and started to even push them back in the rankings. And obviously, that's why we're telling you and warning you about the doorway pages. Don't make the doorway pages at all. To be honest, they were used as a successful strategy back in time. But right now, with Google getting updates every day, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do anything that can raise suspicion and might get you penalized. So in short, doorway pages nowadays are a failed method of trying to get high in the rankings. So don't use this method at all. Well, since this chapter is called SEO Death, probably it means that we're only talking about bad things, or even things that could lead to your SEO death. So, concerning bad things, we're now going to talk about quality links. Bad quality links can take many aspects and meanings. And of course, there are another type of links that we want to avoid, so let's see what exactly they are. So, there are links from bad blog comments that can be considered as a spam, or links from spammy articles that are full of the same keywords, or even links from low quality websites, such as websites that have bad web design or bad reputation. Or even sometimes they can have unuseful content. And also links from websites with illegal content. And most importantly, they are the paid links, or the links that you pay to trick Google's web search into making your website appear more often in a better ranking. So all of these are different types of bad links. We want to avoid them at all costs. And the reason we want to do that is because you don't want to get penalized. Well, of course, you probably won't get penalized for your design, but you might get penalized for paid links and spammy content. So make sure that your website and the links you include are that of high quality and that they'll give you a push forward and not backwards. So far guys, these are some of the things that may cause your SEO death, but there are still more things that we have to warn you about. This was just the first part and there's still more, so stay tuned. Hello guys and welcome to the second part of the SEO death chapter. Today, we're just going to add a little more bad things that can lead to your SEO death. So let's get started. So carrying on with the things that can possibly harm your SEO plan, we have the full screen ads. Google has started penalizing websites that use annoying full screen ads that prompt users to visit a specific page or install a specific app. Because users tend to find them very annoying, Google has decided to punish the websites who use these and make them fall back a little bit in the ranking. Some examples of these ads are the interstitial ads that pop up during the user's reading of the web page's content, or even when they click on a certain button or try to interact with the page. Well, users tend to find them very interruptive, and they simply just ruin the user experience of the website. So avoid these ads. And basically avoid anything that pops up in new pages, so users have to close it and carry on browsing. These are the kind of annoying interruptive ads that everyone hates. Even you as a website owner, if you tried to browse your website and you found those, you would be very annoyed, right? Well, however, a smart way to use these kind of ads is to make them timed. So when the users are done visiting your website and are about to exit it, you can then show these pop-up interstitial ads that you want. Right now, this might not get you penalized, but who knows what the future updates hold. So stay on the safe side and try to diminish full screen pop-ups as much as possible, even if timed. Well, the next thing we have is over-advertising. A lot of website owners decide to fill their whole page with ads everywhere so they can get as much profit as possible. But guess what? If actually your page has more ads compared to the amount of content that you are offering, this will definitely ruin your ranking, as you're not providing as much useful content as you're just trying to earn more profit. Yeah, this will make users dislike your website and they might even get bored and decide to leave it because of the over-advertising that exists on it. So keep the number of ads minimal to moderate. In the end, what we're aiming for is to reach higher ranking and not get more money using ads. The amount of organic traffic you would get if you're in a better ranking is definitely way better than those amount of money you'll earn from those ads. So just forget about over advertising at all. And the next and final issue that we'll talk about in this video is too many outbound links. Well, outbound links to good websites is always a good thing, right? And we actually previously advised you to use them. But overusing them and even hiding them as anchor text isn't always a good thing. And even if all of the links are decent ones, it's still no excuse to put too many outbound links, because this will eventually confuse your users and they won't be even focusing on the target of your content, but instead they'll just end up with opening many links to other websites and just jumping from page to another page to another page and so on. So this will also let the crawlers think that you're trying to redirect people to too many different websites and that your website is very inconsistent. So keep the consistency high and try to put these outbound links only when necessary. So we figured out a cool thing that you can also do is to put the links as anchor text, but redirect the users to pages within your website. Well, this way you can connect your articles and pages in a smart, beautiful way while letting the users stay longer on your website. See, we just hit two birds with one stone. And guys, that was the second group of the issues that may lead to your SEO death. So consider them carefully and try to use our tips to make sure you don't fall in one of the traps that you might encounter when setting up your website. We know that most of the things we mentioned might seem tempting to do, right? As they may get you instant results, but on the long term, they will lead to massive failures. And still, we're not done yet. We still have one more group to go, so stay tuned with us. Hello guys, welcome to a new chapter which is called SEO Professionally. And today we're going to answer an important question. Why SEO will never go out of fashion? So, a lot of people keep saying that SEO is already dead, or its death is coming on the way, it'll be dead very soon, it'll be out fashion. But these are rumors. Here's the thing. SEO is something that isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and it will never go out of fashion. Here's why. First, SEO is constantly updating till today. Think about it. These search engines company like Google and Bing, these are one of the biggest companies ever. So it's not like they're going to shut down one day and say there'll be no more searching or no more search results. That's not gonna work. It's the total opposite. Every search engine business company is trying to grow stronger and wider every single day, whether making small modifications on the way, or it's filtering or ranking the search results, or even adding new features to help the user search for what they're looking for. So we can actually see that they are releasing updates constantly, and especially Google with the Panda and Penguin update, and there are still more to come. So it's never ending. It's really hard to suddenly make your SEO plan stop working. It's just not gonna happen. Also, you know that SEO is more than just content. Of course, the content of any page is undoubtedly one of the most important aspects, but that's not what SEO means. SEO means that you're trying to get free organic traffic by appearing in the search results page of any search engine. So even if 100 websites decided to break or stop functioning, this won't affect SEO, because there will be more websites or competitors waiting for that chance. And people till today are using SEO to get ahead of their competitors. And this competition, guys, it isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's actually growing faster and faster each day. So as long as the competition is here, SEO isn't going anywhere, neither is it going out of fashion. So that's it, guys. SEO isn't something that you're going to wake up and find that it stopped working at all or stopped working all of a sudden. No, it's something that will stay with us for a long while, or maybe even forever, who knows? Because it has built deep roots on the internet and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So that was just the first video in the chapter, so stay tuned for the next one. Hello again everyone, today we're going to help you with something very important. Of course, We know that some of you may be very busy with their businesses that they barely have time to worry about the SEO plan of their website or their business. That's why there are people who specializes in this, and you can actually do the job for you. These people are called SEO agencies, and today we're going to tell you how exactly to hire the right ones. The first thing that you're going to do is to list everything you want, list your requirements. Sometimes the problem isn't that you're going to hire bad agencies, but that your goals are misunderstood. That's why we highly recommend that before doing anything, think about everything that you want to achieve through SEO. Make a list of your budget, your goals, the services that you're going to need, and the services that you're offering. And also specify what kind of agency do you want. Do you want one with high expertise? And what's the size of the agency you're looking for? All of these are questions that you have to list. After that, you can move to the next step. Do a lot of research. Of course, as a business owner, you understand that every decision you do requires research. So before picking an SEO agency, you're going to have to do a little research about SEO agency to see which ones suit your needs and which don't. And also, this will help you gather information on the SEO agencies, such as their reputation or quality of work. Are they effective or not? Do they use updated strategies and techniques? All of that intel can be gathered in a decent research. So make your research and then choose your agencies. Number 3, this is going to be the third and most important step. Make a questionnaire. To actually make sure that you hire the best agency you're looking for, make a list full of questions that are important to you. And then make each of the agencies that you think about hiring fill it with their answers. Like that, you can actually see the one with the most reasonable and perfect answers that match your thoughts. And this can help you in picking out the best SEO agency. You can put questions based on the goals of your work, the target of it, and also add a little bit of questions that can test their knowledge in SEO, just to make sure that they understand SEO. After getting the answers, you'll be able to differentiate between the good ones and the bad ones, or the ones who don't match your criteria. And guys, one final tip, choose an agency that you can trust. Yeah, make sure to choose an agency that you can actually trust, because lots of bad agencies might do things behind your back, really, such as buying links or hiring freelancers and then giving them data about your company. You actually don't want that at all. When they hire the freelancers, they are doing it so they can help it with boosting your ranking, but you never know what the freelancers are going to do. So make sure that when you do your research, you only pick the most trusted SEO agencies. And also keep an eye on how they are accomplishing your work, just so you can avoid any penalty from Google or search engines. And that's, guys, how you pick the right SEO agencies. We hope we have helped you guys with these simple tips.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and go to technicforce.com for more tools and training.